Just a little bit of background into why we're doing the event. What's the focus of the event? Recruitment and recruiting a diverse workforce. I think many of you can agree that inclusion and inclusive cultures definitely go a long way in building, diversity and inclusion in the world of work. But we sometimes trivialise the fact that actually having a diverse workforce is the first step in enabling that inclusive dialogue to happen. And hopefully today we can talk about some of the challenges that we're still seeing when it comes to recruitment and diversity in recruitment. Some of the figures that I guess we're seeing at the start of this decade, 2020, can you believe it, are still very shocking, and it still demonstrates the amount of work that we in HR have a duty to do to inform and to move our agenda forward. So I just want to share some of those statistics because they very much motivate and galvanise me and get me out of bed every morning, but I think it's worth sharing. Firstly, we saw the top 100, so Green Park Recruitment. Any which way you like. Deviani, should we start over here?
Okay. So I'm Deviani Vaishampayan. I have had a fairly long career in FTSE 100 businesses as a Chief Human Resource Officer. What I do now is two things. I run an angel investment fund which invests in artificial intelligence-based HR tech startups. And we also run a human capital digital innovation hub, which is a 6-month program to help corporates experiment and engage with AI-based HR startups. So I guess it's no surprise my top tip is, you've seen the internet, you've seen social media, the third wave is AI, and it can be hugely effective in leveraging and helping you in your diversity agenda.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Judith Germain, and I am a Chartered Fellow of CIPD, author, trainer, and Maverick change maker. And what I do is ensure that I help organisations provoke Maverick leadership everywhere they are. So Maverick leaders are very good at having a diversity in thought and seeing things in a different way, and that's exactly what we need this decade moving forward.
Hi, my name is Nick Day. I'm founder of JGA Recruitment, which is a specialist HR and payroll recruitment consultancy. I'm also the host of the HR L&D podcast. I'm fortunate enough to have had both Deviani and Judy on the podcast in the past, know them well. I'm also host of the payroll podcast, and I also run a private HR leaders WhatsApp group, which is how I know some of the people in the room already. Top tip for me, if I was to provide one, would be that we really need to diversify the talent pools that we're accessing. In my view, there's a huge over-reliance on the likes of LinkedIn, which is a great tool in its own, but it does limit our field of talent that we can access. So I think one example would be, in our business, we are members of 119 different groups on Facebook, which allows us to tap into different types of talent. We have access on Twitter and Instagram and other social channels as well. But each social channel gives you a different demographic and a different diversity of talent. And I think at the moment there's an over-reliance on one particular channel. I think if we can expand that, then it would be a huge difference.
Hi, my name is Maverick. I am a business psychologist, a researcher, and a consultant in D&I. Top tip. I would say the devil is in the detail and the disparity. What's the detail? The detail is your data. You're trying to attract diverse talent, you can't for some reason. Where is it? It's something you can't look for, you've looked everywhere. It's about what kind of data do you have? What are you looking for? Do you know what you're looking for? So if you start somewhere, if you start from where to start, is remember the detail.
Amazing. I love it.
I just realised I forgot my top tip. So my top tip is really, if you're looking for diverse talent, is to think about the change impact that the individual is going to make. So quite often there's a lot of industries that will look at, say, financial services. If you're not into financial services, we don't want you, for example. But what that does is restrict the talent that you have, and maybe what it is that you think you're looking for in terms of that industry, work out what the impact that what the new person to provide, and then look for that individual.
Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much, panel. It's been really interesting. My question is about anti-fit. I think, Nick, you were kind of talking about that. So we've kind of removed references to organisational cultural fit within our recruitment, and we're edging towards anti-fit, where we actually have people that are against our culture, but we're quite a traditional organisation. So although that's an aspiration that we want, my concern is that when we bring in people that are anti-fit, they're going to quickly leave because the organisation isn't for them. So what practical things should we be thinking of if we're going down that process?
We always promote culture evolution. That's the word that we've termed internally. So people that can evolve a culture. It's still important if you're a client, a retail client, for example, and you're passionate about your product. It's still important that individual goes and researches that product, understands, the people within that business have a certain styling or way of doing it. It's not shirt tie, whatever that meets that brand expectation. But that doesn't mean that we're looking for robots and everybody is the same. I think you still want someone that's going to come in with ideas, and that can be creative, that can be leadership based, it can be anything. But I think we're always in people that can evolve the culture. So the first question we ask when we take an assignment is, you've had that person, they've gone, this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to think differently, to get in the areas that individual has gone and didn't have. There's a weakness in everybody. So where were you falling down? Let's see if we can adjust that. What do you need to do that? Let's try and evolve the culture, and then we'll go and find that individual and whatever that may look like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think
I wanted to ask about the idea of transitioning to different sectors or industries, and it seems like employers.
Do you want to use your mic?
I don't really like.
Oh, I just like to be one over here. It's fine. Go on.
It's about like transitioning from different industries or sectors. Candidates find it really difficult to transition because of the mindset of the employer and recruiter, and they always try to match it for like. So do you have any tips to educate employers or recruiters so that they're not open-minded to different sectors?
Okay. Are we talking candidates, or are we talking employers being open to people who are in the sector? Both.
For me, I think it's the key understanding of what it is that you're looking for. So I remember working with a financial services organisation that wanted quick change, and they were looking for HR in financial services, and I suggested retail, because it's much more fast moving and people are much more used to it. And they ended up hiring somebody in HR from retail who was able to really infuse this knowledge of change within the whole organisation. So I think it's, rather than saying we need somebody in this industry, what is it that we need them to do, and what else is like it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is quite a difficult one, but then commercially for us, it's the amber nectar for us is that they'll look across all sectors, because that opens up my talent pool, right? And I've got to deliver a short list of great people. So I'm all for educating clients so you can look across sectors. But there are also sometimes positions where you get absolutely inundated, and within a day you can have 250 potentially suitable applicants. And then sometimes if you are overrun, you have to make decisions both on behalf of the client, or the client will make them for you if they know they can get it. You've got to say, well, we need to draw down the skills. We've got so many people suitable that we need to make decisions now on who is the most suitable based on track record, skills, systems they've used, because often they are sector specific as well, to make that overall shortlist. So it's difficult. I think a lot of it comes down to, I'm very passionate about the word consultant in recruitment. No, we should be consultative with the client, and as a client you should expect us to know the candidate. We're not just a CV factory. So if we have that trust developed, I'd love to be able to say to a client, look, I've got you 4 people for your shortlist from the banking sector, if that's the example, but I know this particular individual, maybe it's Judith, I've worked with her before, and she is more than capable of all the things that you need. So this is my wildcard application if you like. Yeah. Trust me, because I know what you're looking for, and I think this is worth your time. So but that's about building that trustful relationship. As one example, just a bit of an anecdote story, so a really short one, please. I was asked by a retailer, massive, one of the biggest retailers, to find a Russian-Ukraine payroll specialist to be based in Berlin during the height of the Russian-Ukraine crisis. Oh my God. And they must have retail. That was like a no-brainer, must have retail. And I was like, this is not your ordinary assignment, I'll be honest. This was going to be difficult. We did find someone, we relocated them from Russia to Berlin, but they didn't have retail. And that's, okay, it's an extreme example, but the reality is they had Russian payroll experience, and Ukraine payroll experience, and they were willing to move to Berlin. We did place the role with the retailer, but that was an example of saying, look, You're looking for a unicorn, something's got to drop. Right? Either I find someone with retail in Berlin who doesn't have Ukraine or Russian or both, or you have what's most important to you. It turned out for them the Russian Ukraine payroll skills were absolutely essential. So through realising there was no one else or they had to change the way they were looking at it, they went with the decision and made the appointment. But sometimes it just needs that trust, I think.
Absolutely. Right, I think round of applause for our lovely panel. Fantastic. Really good report. Thank you all. I think that was a really valuable conversation. Definitely lots to really take away and think, so thank you. I'm going to break for about 10 minutes if that's okay. So I'm just looking at